can't speak only the things that have been approved. That's why you got to have an alternative media.
Well, we've been given the example as to what happens when we speak up.
We saw that with Nick Cannon.
We've seen what has happened historically, that when you advocate on behalf of yourself, the lesson that we are supposed to have received by now, and many have, is that you either get beat down or you get killed. You die. You get your whole world destroyed. You get scandalized, and as a result of doing so, and that is the lesson that has been programmed into the minds of people that should speak for themselves.
I think what did it is when we called out the funding sources, when we began to talk about who really controlled these movements, who's the real movers and shakers, who created this, and why, and it sent us in scenarios that were harmful to us. That's like you make Jackie Robinson, and I love Jackie Robinson, but you make him a hero. Hero for what? He left a prospering, developing so-called Negro League, where you had independent baseball franchises, where you were building hotels in those cities. You were building stadiums. You were about to do a whole bunch of things. Then you go over to the white baseball team, and that's called progressive. Oh yeah, that's a race barrier. Oh yes, he's a great man. Well, Josh Gibson, another black ball player, told him, you crazy. Why are you leaving this to go there? Why are you building them up? They ain't building you up.
Diversity.
They ain't put no money in yours.
It's called diversity.
They sell us a concept, and that concept is designed to destroy us. It's designed to destroy us, and we can't see it. And that's what I mean by this criminalization of Black people, glorifying the criminal. This is not the first time they did it. And if you go back, if you watch Sweet Sweetback and all those kind of things, you will see that was going on even then.
Absolutely.
They glorified that. They glorified incest. This guy was a even show where he was a young boy having sex with older women, and somehow that's okay. See, they begin to destroy. Incest. Well, I'm sorry, pedophilia. They begin to destroy. Well, could have been incest. Then what they do, they destroy any standards of dignity and any standards that we have to move a race forward. And what it takes is for a race to have standards in order to move forward. But if your standard is glorifying criminality, then nobody wants to deal with you. Nobody will trade with you because you're a criminal and you're a sex degenerate. That's what they want to put out there about us.
And I do have to go back. You just said, you can't rise, but when I listen to Farrakhan from time to time, and he said a nation can rise no higher than its woman. And so I took that and I broke that down just to us as Black folks. And I'm looking at how the woman is. You just said, see Dolores Tucker unprotected. The most of us are unprotected. We're getting killed and beaten every day. Every day I read a story of a man killing a woman, killing the children, and it's perpetual. So if we don't respect ourselves and we decide that we're going to call ourselves male horses, Meg Thee Stallion, we're an animal. The male, when he's good on the basketball field, what do they say? Oh, he's a beast. He's a monster.
He's a beast.
That's an animal. When you say, oh, the kids, when you call children kids, those are baby goats. They're animals. So you the man is the animal, the woman is the animal, the child is the animal. So they don't mind killing you down in the street because
animalization.
It's animalization. And we've done that to ourselves.
Well, we haven't done it.
The degradation.
No, because we feed into the language and we call it ebonics.
Well, they stripped the word dignity out of your vocabulary.
We want to change the word stallion and put it on a woman. No, in the dictionary, it is a male horse.
But once again, if you bring that up in a lot of Black circles, then you're going to be vilified and attacked.
Thank you. I've done it.
Specifically talk about the degradation of women, particularly in the role of that in the de-evolution of our culture. Women want to take the victim role and say, oh, no, we're never wrong. Our men have to stand up. It's the men's fault and it's not. But it's actually the women that are the foundation of the culture, of the family. And we have women here that will glorify having a WAP and having a wet box. And the thing about it is, your kids don't care if you have a wet box or not. They want a family. They want to be legitimate. They want a legacy. And you
Thank
sitting
you.
up here and you're validating the completely wrong things. You're laying with the completely wrong men. You have zero standards and zero worth. And instead of taking that time to heal and become a woman of standards
And substance.
morals, okay?
And
We
the
don't want to
message of
talk about
family,
morals.
and the message of family is practically non-existent. And when it does show up, that family don't look like yours. it looks at some other variation. Okay. And
Yeah.
and we need to begin to take back our own narrative. Look, I believe that Black people should join organizations. And when you join the organization, make sure that you're unapologetically Black, looking out for Black interests, regardless to wherever you're active. You're in the Democratic Party, look out for Black people's interests. If you're in the Republican Party, just don't be impressed by the chandeliers in the room or the carpet on the floor. Look out for Black people's interests. If you're in a Black civil rights organization, make sure that you're looking out for Black people's interests. Join a PTA, join a PTO, and look out for the Black interest of your child, because if you don't, nobody else is going to legitimately do so.
That's right.
John, I want to shift to something that happened just for a brief discussion on get y'all's reaction to it. President Joe Biden just recently acknowledged his role in hurting Black people by saying that that bill that he passed and that he famously went around bragging about, well, we already know what the bill did. It locked up nearly 3 million Black men and women also, and it destroyed any semblance of a Black household. It just wiped the community out. And then behind that came all the drugs and all that other stuff. Now, are you pleased, Reverend Coates, that President Biden has acknowledged his role, or is that enough, or is that even a beginning?
Well, the problem isn't that President Biden acknowledged his role in mass incarceration. The problem is that Black people in mass have not acknowledged the role of Joe Biden in mass incarceration. And I mean, he can say, look, he's even standing up, waving the flag and saying, look, it was me. I did it. I'm right here. And you still elected me. The problem is not with what he acknowledges. The problem is what we acknowledge, what's important to us. And until it's important for us to realize what happened to us and what is happening to us, then it's just is all for naught. He can say anything. So what?
Irv, you agree?
I do. I totally agree with him. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I get frustrated.
You don't know.
I get frustrated and I get disheartened from time to time. And I know that, Khari, I talk to you and you be like, girl, this is just the system this is what you said,
I said, this is what white supremacy racism
produces. Right.
Yeah.
And so it brings me back, but it's still hard for us as women, as Black men, to know that this is the situation we're in. When I was coming up, I thought that, Dr. King did all this stuff for us. My mom and dad didn't prepare me for going out here and this is still what's happening. You know what I mean? So I think that we have to instill in our children where they are, what is actually going on, so they can avoid the pitfalls and the holes that are in the traps that are set for them.
How many parents you think are doing that? How many parents do you think are sitting down with their children and educating them on white supremacy?
Not
educating them even on
what, Donella, about 5%?
How many?
Maybe 3 to 5%.
I guarantee you it's not even that.
Don't be like, Khari, where's your data? I can't even get the number, girl.
Listen, maybe 3 to 5%.
We know it's not there. Because we
it's
see
not
it reflective in the behaviors.
We
know it's not there.
Absolutely. When you don't know how to act, when you go out in public, it's crazy. We can do something about this, but we have to get to work. And we don't want to do that work and heal ourselves first. And we pour this mess out to our children, and that's what we call generational curses. And there's 1 or 2 born in each and every one of our families that can break this curse. But we look at them and we talk stuff, we get mad. We don't want to do the work. We are lazy as hell. And
Well,
it starts
and,
young.
And I
Okay,
think
okay,
that's-
Donella, what's your response to this, to the Biden thing?
Well, and I have to look, okay,
Yeah.
you can't sit here as a community and say, I take full responsibility for my actions, and then get angry that a politician, you know, put in a 3 strikes law or whatever law, you know, crack versus cocaine, all of these laws that were discriminatory, and yes, were targeted to lock Black people up in Maine.
Did lock
We
them
know
up.
it did.
You know,
Oh, God.
I know, believe me, I know. But you cannot get mad at the politicians. Get mad at yourself. Nobody told you to go out there and sell crack.
And it wasn't just him who voted for that policy. It was some Black people too. It was some Black folks.
And my thing is, I don't even care, because I grew up. I came of age in the 80s in New York City, and I wanted these people locked up because they were killing everybody.
You agree with that, John?
I'm with it.
I grew
Reverend
up in
Coach, you agree with
Beirut.
that assessment?
You know, Beirut and Vietnam were safer than my neighborhood.
Well,
They
wait,
were
wait,
animals.
but
They
who,
needed to be locked up.
but who brought the crack in your neighborhood?
But
Who
who told you
created
to
the
sell it?
conflict?
They sold it to
created
their parents, because guess what? The vast majority of crackheads were people who were full grown. They were 35 and up. Those were the
Where's your
ones
data?
with the crack. Weren't you there?
Where's your? I
You
wasn't
didn't
in New
see
York.
no
You were.
teenage
Where's your
crackheads.
data?
See, the
No, I didn't see
crackheads
it.
was Miss
Where
Annie,
was your data?
okay, and Miss
Reverend
Jerome,
Coach.
and Mr. Jerome and them. The crackheads were grown, and the kids were selling it to their own people. They were selling it to the
They
parents
were.
of their own
They really
classmates.
were.
So let's not
Aunts,
play that
uncles, it
game.
don't
If
matter.
you
It
are
didn't matter.
Grown
if
people
you
get
are
on crack.
if you are a victim of mind control and you don't control how you think about anything, then you can be led to do anything. And Black people, wait a minute,
Don't help us.
hold
That
on.
don't help us.
Black people, no, let's tell the truth. Black people have been indoctrinated to whiteness from the time they come out of their mama's womb. And even then, because the mother's being programmed to white
So I'm gonna pick
supremacy.
up a crack
Wait a minute, hold on.
at 40
Hold
years
on.
old.
Any effort that we have tried to put together an alternative to white supremacy, you send in your organized intelligence agents to destroy it, to wipe it out.
Okay,
Wait
but
a minute.
listen.
In fact, we know that for a fact. We know that for a
We're not
fact.
talking about
Wait a
organization.
minute. Then you flood your communities like they did in LA with crack cocaine. You overrun those communities, and now you want to hold Black people responsible when they
Absolutely.
control
Absolutely.
nothing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know why? Because I saw the
They don't
pain
even control their
and the
own mind.
destruction
Tell
of
them
what
what they
happened
control.
when those full-grown people decided to pick up a pipe and smoke it. Okay, their
First of
children
all-
were left vulnerable, and that
First of all, all of
created a
that these so-called-
generation of people,
so-called
the women who are
full-grown
alive
people
now
were
in
not
their 30s and
full-grown.
their 40s. There's
That's
an
number one.
epidemic
They
of
didn't have the
bipolar
mind to be
disorder,
full-grown.
and that is directly related to them
Reverend
being
Coach,
children
what
of the
you say?
crack epidemic. And for you
Reverend-
to sit here
Hold
and
on.
say that we didn't have accountability or responsibility in that,
You didn't.
I'm personally
You did
offended.
not.
I'm
That's
personally
what
offended.
that's
I didn't
what being
smoke
a
crack.
victim of
My
white
mom didn't
supremacy
smoke
means.
crack. Look, my
You
dad
didn't
smoked
have
crack.
it.
But
You
that was
didn't
a
have it.
choice. That was a
No,
choice.
you didn't.
It's a choice.
No.
Okay, I went
They
to
were
school.
victimized.
I went to
That's what
college. I was
victimization
victimized
means.
too, and I made different choices.
So you never did no wrong. Don't
And
make it
nobody's had
personal.
to rob somebody's
Don't make
purse
it
because I was
personal.
broke.
Because
I
the moment
stayed
you
broke
make it
and went to
personal,
school.
then you
It's
want
choices.
everybody to
It's
come out and say
choices.
you a victim.
It's choices.
Jump in here, John.
It's choices.
Go ahead, John. 'Cause
Wait a minute,
on
she took a
berserk. Go ahead.
breath. Wait a minute, she ain't even
Go ahead.
breathing heavy. That's
ahead,
pretty
John.
good. She took
Go ahead.
She
took
said
Go
a
it's a
ahead,
breath.
John.
choice.
Look, I'm going ahead. I'm just amazed right
Question
now. Let me
nobody.
be a little shell shocked. Look, I think you both are you both are correct. You're both correct. Number one, we don't manufacture a cocaine. We don't grow the coca leaf. We didn't ship the coca leaf over here and process it into
None of it.
powder cocaine. They might have taught you how to cook it down into some crack, but we did not orchestrate that. But what Donella is saying, that we still had a choice to
No.
make. And
No, you didn't.
we did have
No,
a
you
choice.
didn't.
And at some
No, you
point,
didn't.
we have to make the
No, you
decision to hit the
Oh, yeah, the
override
choice.
button.
That's where-
Hit the
that's where-
override
that's-
button.
that's where you
The
don't
Bible
understand
says
mind
to
control.
resist the devil
That's where
and he
you
will
don't
flee.
understand
And at some
mind
point,
control.
we got to do some
If
resisting.
you understood-
Stop being a victim.
If you
Don't be a
understood-
victim, Khari.
if you
Stop
understood
being a
mind
victim
control,
and take
then
some
you wouldn't make
control.
statements
No,
like
we
that.
all-
Take some control. Take some
Hold on.
control.
The only people that think that way are people who do not understand the science of mind control.
No, we
No,
know
no,
the
no, no,
science
no,
of
no,
mind
no,
control.
no.
No, no,
Hear
no,
me
no,
out.
no, no, no,
Hear me
no.
out. Hear me out.
It's 3
Because
against
most
1 right
of
here.
y'all will come against me now, and
Yeah.
then they hear you saying, "Oh God, he was right."
No,
Of course,
not gonna do
because
that.
mind control. Oh yes, you will.
No,
Let me tell
you know
you why
why?
you will.
Because you have a
mind,
choice on this planet. God gave
you
you a
don't have a
choice.
choice.
That is
When
the
someone
beauty of
controls your
being human
mind,
on this planet.
when someone controls your mind
None of
and
us smoke crack.
defines who you are from the
None of
time
us
you are
smoke crack.
born, 24 hours a day programming, not a minute let up. You have no alternative
And none
that
of
you
us
have
smoke
developed.
crack.
Then you are totally under their control.
And none of
This is
us
this is a process of mass hypnosis, and our people don't recognize it.
One
and
more time.
understand it.
Answer this, Khari.
None
Answer
of
this.
us
Yeah,
Answer
go
this.
ahead.
Answer this question. Why would someone take the time, or a group of people take the time to science to the point to mass mind control the Black community?
Power.
What would be their purpose?
Power and domination. Power and domination, and for fun. Power and domination. Let's maintain control so that we can stay on top, so that we can keep manipulating and poking fun at them and creating images. This stuff is set up in all their institutions. That's what it's set up to do. Only thing you are allowed to have is a white supremacist mindset so you can support what they're doing to you. From the time you were born, everything that you learn comes from them.
The thing about it is this,
including everything your mother knew, everything your grandmother knew. They can only tell you what white supremacists put in their computer.
If that is true, then why bother talking to these puppets?
Because that's why.
You know why you're fighting.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me answer it.
You're fighting. Let me talk now.
Let me answer
for
the
your
question.
people because you know your people can do better. Because you know there is promise and hope. And you
Let me answer the question. No.
Make a choice.
The reason why you talk to them is because you know what has happened to them. And your only let me answer. The only way you can solve it is to try to stimulate in them, like I'm doing tonight, into your computer, what is going on, so that at least it creates a tinkling of thought about how dominating and controlled our thinking and our behavior is from the time we get up to the time we go to bed. And we haven't truly realized the depth of this mind control and mind adoption.
Yes, it depends on how far your mind is gone.
Is we continually accept excuses, and that's because we are a culture that is void of rites of passage, which is what Jallow talks about all the time. We have no rites of passage.
Give me a definition.
No tradition. I'm sorry, I was talking. May I finish? We have no tradition.
No.
We have no route.
We're out of time.
Okay, of which we are
so
to
you're gonna have to cut it short. Oh God, John,
now we gotta cut it short.
Yeah, we gotta cut it short.
Yeah, now you got to cut it short, Donella.
We gotta cut it short because Donella go on for another 3 minutes.
No, the pot just
okay.
called the kettle
That's
black.
Okay.
I'm like, what? Wow.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us for Khari and Friends. See you soon.
We're gonna need a part 2 on this.
I swear.